Check 1, 2, check 1, 2, checking to see if anyone has signed up last minute. Check 1, 2. live. Hi to Rachel, hi to Shannon, hi to Teresa, hi to Tegan. I'm so looking forward to practicing with you all this evening. So just a couple of quick things. Today's class is going to be predominantly focused on hips and pelvis. The hips and pelvis are very important in the body because we want to think of it kind of like the tree trunk of the body. And that's where a lot of pain can come from. Knees, ankles, anything wrong with the alignment of our pelvis and kind of our core area can kind of create a ripple or a domino effect in the body. So I love to start a lot of my classes with pelvic work or hip work. So we're gonna jump into that today. As always in my classes, I say this in my in-person ones, it's not as applicable in the online ones, but this is non-performative. You put your camera on, leave it off. This is an hour for you. This is an hour, I think so often we give and give and give through the day. So this is a time for me to give to you and for you to just feel really, like held and nourished. That's my hope for today, that we'll just have some nice, juicy, feel good movement. We're gonna get a little bit into the glutes, a little bit into the core. That helps keep that pelvic alignment nice and tight and good. And just a reminder too, I think sometimes when we try different positions or when we try different movements, sometimes there will be a little bit of pain involved. And pain is such an interesting term because of course we don't want to be in lots of pain, but sometimes the movements that we're doing or the stretching that we're doing, the lengthening of muscles, things like that, there can be a little bit of tension and pain involved. And what we know is that there's 3 ways to remove pain and tension from the body. That's through movement, which we're gonna do right now. It's through sound, and it's also through the breath. So a lot of what we're doing today is gonna involve the breath. A lot of my classes involve big, full breaths. So yeah, settle in, we'll get going. I am on a block. So I have this little thin block here. You can use a pillow or you can grab a cushion or something. You also don't need one. If you don't have one and you're looking around your house going, I don't have anything, that's absolutely fine. We're gonna start an easy seat. Easy seat for me is on this block. It helps kind of keep my pelvis forward. Easy seat for you might look very different. What feels easy to you might be kind of this open diamond formation, just to make it a little easier on the hips. If you do have a little bit more depth, you can do this kind of crisscross motion here. Just make sure that every now and then you flip which foot is on top. If you always have one on top, make sure you flip-flop them. And then we're thinking of being nice and upright, right? Nice and tall through the spine. Often we sit through the day. I read a meme this week that said, I sit like a cooked shrimp. And I was like, that is so me. So a lot of times we sit kind of back on the bum cheeks. So we want to think of sitting up on those bum cheeks, up on the sit bones. That brings length through the spine, and our neck is an extension of the spine. So we want to have just a little gentle chin tuck. And then we're going to connect the hands to the backs of our hands to the tops of our knees. And I always do this in all of my classes. It is so easy to get your physical body to class, especially an online class, but to kind of get yourself here, grounded in the moment, can take just a second. So we're going to take 1 minute just to kind of get here mentally, physically, spiritually, all of the things, energetically, just get here. And that can look like just kind of an inventory over the body. So I like to use this time to just check in, anything I'm feeling, any tension in my shoulders, is my jaw clenched, things like that. So we will just take 1 moment. if you begin to feel your mind wandering to what's for dinner, or if you're noticing noises around, that's okay. Just really gently bring the mind back to the moment. Feel the ground underneath you. Notice your breath, the rising and the falling of your chest, and just try to come back to your physical body, to the present moment. Wonderful. So from here, we're going to start nice and easy. We're going to flip the hands and connect them to the tops of the knees here. There's a style of yoga called Kundalini yoga where we're unraveling the spine, is what that means. Kundalini is to unravel. So we are going to start by drawing little circles with the chest here and thinking of unraveling the spine from the day. Maybe you sat at a desk all day, maybe you were driving around in the car today, maybe you stood a lot today. So we're just gonna think of keeping the sit bones connected to the floor, so I'm not lifting up as I do this, and I'm just twisting through the rib cage and the spine, and whenever you're ready, you'll switch directions and go the other way. And from here, you can start to sync your breath a bit, start to take nice big inhales, and then let it all go. Beautiful. Shimmy back to somewhat neutral. And then from here, you're going to think of your arms kind of like railroad tracks. They're going to come right next to each other, parallel here. And there should be a little gentle squeeze of the shoulder blades from behind. We're not connecting our arms quite yet, just a little thoracic spine stretch here. Now from here, you're gonna flip the hands and bring them back behind you and swim your heart forward, reaching the heart forward. Then we come back. We bring the pinkies close together. We bring the elbows close together. Maybe even a little crown shield where we shield the top of our head. Inhale, and then swim your heart forward as you exhale. That same thing in that same form. Maybe now the pinkies connect and the elbows connect for an even bigger stretch. Inhale here. Exhale, swim your heart forward. We'll keep going in that same form. Last time in this form, pinkies connect, elbows connect, little crown shield, and then swing your heart forward. We'll come back and bring the hands to prayer now, right in front of the chest. I like to think of my thumbs almost like my chest is coming up towards my thumbs, nice and open here. We're gonna have a little bit of heat, a little bit of a press between the hands. So we're not loose and kind of down like this. We've got the elbows out nice and wide, and almost like you're squeezing a little piece of paper right here. So nice and wide here. And from here, we're gonna check in with the neck just a little bit. So we're gonna push this hand this direction, and we're gonna look the opposite direction. Once I'm here, I'm gonna take this hand and I'm gonna push this way, and this hand I'm gonna push a little bit that way. So there's still that little bit of pressure, but I shouldn't have my shoulders up super high here. I've got my shoulders dropped, jaw is relaxed. And then from here, we're gonna inhale as we pass through center, and then exhale as we go the other side. Again, little heat, keep that pressure between the hands. Inhale as you pass through center. Exhale, look away. Exhale, push. Inhale through center. Exhale, push. This time, as you push, go ahead and release that hand. And you're going to keep a nice active palm still, almost like you're just telling the world to stop. Press pause. You should feel a big tingly kind of sensation through the wrist, through the arm there. That's a big nerve stretch here. We'll bring the hands back together, pass through center as we inhale. Exhale, push. And we'll release this hand. Nice and active palms here. We'll bring them back together. Inhale through center. Exhale. Release. Press stop. Back to center. Last time in this form. Exhale. Back to center as we inhale. Perfect. From here, we're going to continue that journey. Press the hands up, reaching out of the pelvis nice and high here. And then back down as we exhale. One more time. Up, inhale. And exhale back down. From here, the elbows are still nice and wide. I've got a little bit of a press. I'm gonna let my wrists fall forward. So, little wrist stretch here. My wrists are slightly behind my elbows, so I've got a tiny wrist stretch, nothing crazy. Then from here, I'm gonna bring it forward and squeeze my palms together. That should activate my chest muscles. So squeeze those hands together. Palms face as we rotate the wrists. Thumbs come to collarbones here. And then we're gonna take the elbows and open the shoulder blades. Continue that journey out. And then we'll inhale up. Exhale back down. We're gonna do that sequence just a couple of times. It's such a nice sequence. So we're gonna keep nice active hands. Wrists fall forward. Squeeze as we press. Rotate the wrists. Thumbs come to collarbones. Open those shoulders. Inhale. Exhale back down. Last time in this form, rotate. Press forward, squeeze those chest muscles. Rotate the wrists, thumbs to collarbones, elbows open. Inhale up. And exhale down. Beautiful. Go back up one more time. Inhale up. This time we're going to cartwheel over to this side. So drop this hand down. We're not compressing this side. We're just elongating and reaching out of this hip. Keep that sit bone connected on that side, and you can just support yourself through this hand. And then if you'd like a little bit more depth, you can twirl this pinky. Twirl your pinky in and look through the shoulder. Look through your armpit almost. Couple big breaths into these side ribs. We get really compressed when we sit all day in our ribs and diaphragm, so we really want to breathe into these ribs. Beautiful. We'll cartwheel over to the other side. Fingertips connect as we reach out of this hip. Stretching those ribs, opening everything up. You can twirl pinky side round and glance through the armpit if that feels okay. If that's too tight on your neck or on your shoulder, leave it out. Couple of big breaths here. Gorgeous. Leave your hips where they are as we reach the hand forward and slice through space. We bring the hand back behind our hip for support, and then this hand stacks right on top of that hip, of where that other hand is, and I'm pressing my chest forward. You can see I'm pressing the pelvis, pressing my chest, opening my whole heart space up, and I'm gonna inhale here, and then exhale, leave my hips, swing around, same thing this side, hands stack, press that chest forward, open the body, and then exhale, slice. Inhale, exhale, slice. Inhale, exhale, slice. One more, inhale, exhale. Beautiful. Bring both hands back behind now for support. And you're just gonna think of kind of pulling the spine away from the pelvis, just creating a little bit of space. Ooh, my hip just popped, guys. That was so loud. Releasing. For anybody who was here last week, how much better is the heat for me right now? I was melting last week. There was so much sun coming in. It was beautiful. The images, the shots were gorgeous, but oh my gosh, got to the end and I was like dying. If you had a block or a cushion or anything, you can get rid of that. And we're gonna come into this nice open hips position. So as we kind of get into the hips, it's not often that we sit like this throughout the day. So we often are sitting in chairs or sitting, not really sitting on the floor often. So it's really good to open the hips like this. I was always told it wasn't good to sit like this and I need to cross my legs and I need to, no. This is exactly how people need to be sitting to open their hips and to have hip mobility. So I want you to think of nice and wide, right? Really, really open yourself up. And then from here, we're gonna take the knees and rock them over to one side. Now, if you're particularly tight in your hips, you might not be able to connect to the floor. You might kind of be about here. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. Gravity will eventually get you and you will be able to connect the knees at some point. So don't stress if you're kind of up high, that's fine. That's where we all started. So, and then from here, we're gonna rock them over to the other side. Windscreen wipers, or 90-90s, are what these are called because we've got our legs in a 90-degree angle and a 90-degree angle. So we've got one hip going into internal rotation and one hip going into external rotation. So we do these in every single one of my classes. I do this every single day because, like I said, if your hips are out of whack, if your pelvis is out of whack, if you don't have great movement through your hips, it just creates a lot of problems in the body. It can create a lot of niggles and pain, and so this is a great easy one. I do this sometimes right before I get into bed. Great, so from here, we're gonna think of bringing one foot in to support and one foot is going to go out wide. Now, when I first started moving and started doing stuff like this killed me because my hamstrings were so tight. So if you need to grab a block again, or a cushion, or a blanket, or a throw pillow and pop one under your knee for a little bit of extra support, ain't no shame, ain't no shame. So whatever you need to do to feel a little bit more comfortable in this position is fine. And then again, we're up on the sit bones. So we're not slouching down, we're up on the sit bones nice and high. And from here, we're going to be reaching in this direction. So that can mean a million different things because when I first started stretching, when I first started practicing yoga and all these different movements, Pilates and stuff like that, I could get to about here. I was really, really tight in my back, really tight in my hamstring. So find where you can get to and be kind of semi-comfortable. Like it's a little bit of a challenge, but maybe you find a point around the calf, around the ankle. If you've got the ability to reach for the foot, that's great. All of it counts. I wish somebody would have told me this because I was always so embarrassed when I would go to yoga classes and stuff because I was like, I'm not flexible, I'm not strong. No, whether you're here, or here, it's all the same thing. So as we're in this position, the goal long-term, again, is head to knee. Oh man, ain't no way. When I first started, I'm finally kind of getting there after lots of practice, but you're just gonna think of not so much reaching from here with the back kind of stuck and reaching this way. You're gonna think of lifting out of the pelvis, lifting up and bringing the head towards the foot to wherever you land. And then we're gonna bring the breath here, because a lot of what's stopping us in these positions from reaching and going further is actually the nervous system. It's our body's way of protecting itself. So if we go further than our body's thing, our brain is kind of saying, hey, be careful, be careful. So when we take a lot of big, full breaths, that's what creates flexibility. That's what creates more movement in the body, is teaching the body, hey, you're safe in this position. I've gotcha. I'm not gonna hurt you. So we're gonna take a bunch of full, juicy breaths here. Take your time. Try to, on the exhale, begin to soften and let gravity bring you towards the mat. Take your time. Last full big breath here. Beautiful. So from here, we're gonna find an anchor point. So whether that's holding on to the ankle, the calf, the knee, or the foot, find an anchor point. You can also do what's called a yogi toe grab, 2 fingers around the big toe and squeeze, up to you. From here, we're gonna think of drawing the energy up. This is a little bit of witchy stuff, so stick with me. We're gonna draw the energy up our arm, like we're pulling a bow. Draw the energy towards your heart space. And then from here, a lot of people are kind of compressed through this section, our shoulders are around it. I want you to think of twirling the elbow up towards the ceiling. So opening that shoulder girdle. And then the very last thing to go is the hand. And you're reaching in all dimensions, pulling the hand this way while also kind of pressing in this direction. Think of opening the shoulders, big breaths here. And it's okay if you're here or anywhere in between, totally fine. Big inhale. And then as you exhale, swing the arm down towards the foot or ankle or shin, wherever. 2 more big full breaths here. Gorgeous. Same thing, a little bit of witchy energy stuff. We're gonna draw the energy up through our arm, up through our chest space, twist the elbow open, release the hand, all directions, all dimensions. Take up space. Inhale here. Exhale, sweep the hand. Beautiful. From here, we're not gonna draw the energy up this time. We're gonna think of rainbowing this hand. We still have our anchor point. Rainbowing the hand up and over. And then right about here, I'm gonna release my anchor point, drop the hand back behind. Now, totally up to you here. We can either open the body this way, where we're kind of just elongating everything that we were just compressing. We were just in this position and kind of closing this whole section. So now we want to do the opposite and open up this section. This is absolutely fine if you just want to stay here. If you'd like to try, you can do a lift. So we're gonna think of driving through the heel, pressing through the heel as we point the toe and lift the pelvis up off the mat, press through the arm, squeeze through your bum cheeks. Squeeze, 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 squeeze the bum cheeks and press the pelvis up, open the body, take up space. And then nice and controlled, we lower back down to earth. Gorgeous. I remember the first time I did a lift in a yoga class like that, and I was like, oh, I'm so badass. Like, that was so cool. So we're gonna do it to the other side. Bring that one foot in, nice and upright on the sit bones. Leg extends, and like I said, we're reaching in this direction. And notice, honestly, my right side is so much tighter than my left side. So that's okay. Just notice kind of what's happening in the body, and then we can attend to it. We can listen to the body when it speaks to us, when it says this side needs a little bit more love. We can do that. Really bring the breath here. Try to soften and let gravity help you draw that head towards the foot or anywhere in between. Beautiful. Find your anchor point, and we'll draw our bow, draw the energy up the arm towards the heart space. Twist that shoulder open. Here comes the sun. Reach for it. Extend. Big inhale. Exhale, reach. I'm feeling a little more secure here, so I'm gonna ditch my block. You can, it's up to you. Sometimes it's nice to have it through that whole sequence, but up to you. A couple of big breaths. Beautiful. Find your anchor point again. Draw the bowstring up. Twist and release the hand last. Inhale here. Exhale, sweep. Beautiful. Keep your anchor point wherever that is as we rainbow the hand up, over, behind, and then right about here, I'm gonna release, connect back behind. Think of driving my heel. The reason we drive the heel into the ground is because then it engages the glutes. We want to use the glutes. We don't want to, when we lift, use all these tiny thin muscles in our inner thigh and stuff like that. We don't want to hold the weight in our low back. We want to use these big juicy glute muscles to hold us up. So when we press our heel into the mat, point the toe, and raise the pelvis up, open. Nice and controlled, we bring the body back down to earth. Wonderful. So now is an awesome time if you need to grab a sip of water or anything. We're gonna meet in tabletop next. So, but if you need to readjust yourself or grab water or anything, now's a good time to do it. All right, stunning, here we go. From here, tabletop. Tabletop is wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and then I even like to give myself just a little bit more space in the spine. Bring my hands a little further forward. We're not locking out our elbows here. We have a nice soft bend in the elbows, and then we're plugging each finger in nice and connected on all fingers. And then from here, we're just gonna start a nice gentle wrist warm up. So I'm gonna bring my knees as wide as the mat, sink my hips back towards my bum, and then I'm gonna just think of almost like I have a pencil attached to my chest here that's down here. I'm gonna draw big circles with that pencil. So I'm coming up and over this wrist, plugging all my fingertips in, and then swinging over to that wrist. I'm just starting to sync my breath with it, so I'm going to inhale on the upstroke, and then exhale as I sink back towards my heels. And then you'll switch directions, go the other way. We don't often load our wrists with weight or load our shoulders throughout the day. Our ankles, all these joints, our hips, our knees get loaded with our body weight, but our wrists and shoulders don't get a lot of that. So it's really good before you start a yoga practice or anything, just to give the wrists a little bit of weight in them, a little twirl if you need to, just to warm them up. You don't want to be harsh on them. I think a lot of people think that like physical fitness and working out has to be hard and gritty and rough and you have to pay for it. No pain, no gain, right? When in all reality, like exercise movement can feel really good. You can take care of yourself. You can nourish your body, be aware of what it needs. If your wrists need a second, listen to them, you know? So from here, we are gonna try a couple inverted positions. So downward dog would be an inverted position. That position isn't always comfortable. The first time that you do kind of that type of inversion, it can feel a little like, oof, I haven't done this before with my body. So take your time. Really make sure that you feel safe and secure no matter what movement you're doing. But we're gonna start nice and easy. So I have my toes behind me kind of tucked here, and I'm gonna bring my hands forward, plug all my fingertips in, and I'm just gonna raise my knees up off the mat to start. So a little bit, this is known as a bear hold or kind of a bear plank position. And I'm just warming up my core, warming up kind of what it feels like to be raised up off the mat. And we're just gonna hold here for a second. Again, I still have that soft bend in my elbows. I'm retracting more through my shoulders, not through locking out my arms. And then from here, let the knees come back down to the mat. You can give yourself a little puppy pose or child's pose, whatever feels nice for you. And then we'll come back up to that tabletop position. We're gonna go back up into that bear hold, so get your feet nice and settled, and we're gonna pop them up, and then we're gonna continue the journey up. Think of bum to the clouds, so nice and high, and then I always think of drawing my ribs towards my thighs. So even if I have to have a super generous bend in the knees to bring my ribs towards my thighs, that's fine. If your feet are not fully connected to the back of the mat too, if your heels aren't connected, that's fine, no problem. We're looking for the right shape, even if we have to adapt it just a little bit. So this is downward facing dog. And again, think bum to the clouds. Breathe through this. You can even pedal the feet a little bit if you need to stretch the Achilles and the calves. Beautiful. Come back down towards that bear hold. Pop down onto the knees. And then same thing, reach the hands forward, either puppy pose, which is my hips are still up nice and high, or I can open up my knees and come down into child's pose. Hare pose. Take a couple breaths here. Beautiful. Rock up one more time for me. And from here, we're just gonna give our spine a little shimmy. So little back and forward motion, almost like you're a dog wagging its tail. We just wanna move the spine laterally a bit. Great. And then from here, we're gonna go up into downward dog one more time. So if downward dog isn't for you and you're just not feeling it today, you can just keep hanging out in that bear hold position where we're here from tabletop, and then we press up, the knees hover. You can hang out here. Otherwise, we're gonna reach up, pedal the feet out, and we're back up into downward dog. If this is enough for you, again, just hang out here. If this feels like enough of a challenge, that's great. If you would like to, you can go up into three-legged dog. Raise the leg up. Bring it back in. Connect back down. Little pedal out. And then same thing to the other side. Raise that leg up. This is great for the hips. Opening everything up. And back in. Connect to earth. Give yourself a second, nice and easy as we come back down. And then find your rest position. Give yourself a second, couple of breaths here. Beautiful. Let's come back up to our neutral tabletop. And we're gonna do a little bit of a fancy hip opener type of thing. So this is one where it's kind of like everything counts, everything in between counts. So I'll show you kind of the first entry basic point of it, and then where we can progress to if that feels okay for you. So we're in this tabletop position here. We're gonna think of taking one leg, this foot, and swinging it up and out. So it's not here, it's swinging it up and out. I'm gonna keep my toe planted into that spot as I twirl my hip open. So this already can feel like a stretch for some people with the hip open like this, and I'm facing my body this way still. That can already feel like a nice hip opener for some people. Then from here, if you'd like a little extra, you can kind of start to sink your weight back towards your bum. I already feel like a huge, nice stretch in my inner kind of groin area and inner hip socket. So you would just sink your weight kind of back. You can come out of it if it's too intense, but we're thinking of opening the hip, creating lots of space here. So find that happy medium. We talked about pain is just the body saying, hey, be careful. So find that little bit of pain and then just kind of breathe into it. If you'd like a little bit more extra, if you already think like, no, I still don't really feel it, you can creep the hands over towards the foot and start thinking of dropping the forearms down. So you're swinging over and dropping everything down. Eventually bringing everything over to the foot, but everything counts, everything in between counts. So whether you're here, right? Anything, the main thing is that you're opening this hip. So don't let this collapse in. Think of making sure that it's nice and open, and then bring the breath, a couple of big breaths. Gorgeous. We'll come back up, come out of that for that side, and then we'll take it over to the other side. So it might be kind of hard to see me on this side, but same thing. We're twisting that foot out, connecting the toe, swinging the hip open, thinking of that the main goal is to keep my body this way, but that the hip is opening this way. So maybe I'm here, maybe that's enough. Maybe I kind of start doing a couple rocks to open up that hip. Or if it feels okay, I might be able to sink all the way down to my forearms and start to make the journey over to that hip. And you can, if you've got enough depth, you can kind of start to even press the hip open. A couple of big breaths here. Hip openers are hard, so be gentle with yourself here. Forge. Nice and easy. Come out of this nice and easy, no rushing. And then from here, I'm actually gonna face this way, so hopefully you guys can see me a little bit better. But from here, if your wrists are killing you, if you're kind of like, oh, we've been in tabletop for so long, stick with me. This is the last one. And man, if we thought that the hips were open before, we're gonna open them right up. So stick with me on this. This one can be quite intense. You're gonna bring your knees as wide as you can. Kind of as wide as you can bring your knees that feels comfortable, where you're not like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hurt something. I'm gonna tuck my feet underneath. Some people bring their feet out here wider. That feels so awful on my knees, so I don't like to do that. Maybe one day. But for now, I'm just opening here, and then I'm gonna drop down to my forearms. Again, a cushion can be great here if you would like a little bit of extra support. You're allowed to feel nice when you're stretching and doing this stuff. You're allowed to feel supported and nice. So even if I wanted to, I could bring my block for a little bit of foam here. And you're gonna think of really challenging yourself to draw the weight up, away. So when I draw my weight towards my arms, it's very easy. And then as I start to sink my weight back towards my bum, huge stretch in the hips, huge stretch on the inner thighs and hip socket. So find that point where, yes, it's slightly painful, like just a twinge of pain, where you're kind of like, oh yeah, that is angry. That's the point that we kind of want to get to, and then really bring your breath. Big full breaths once you reach that point. And I should say, if at any point you need to come out of this, if it doesn't feel okay, if you need to take a break, go for it. Hip openers are so hard, so really listen to your body here. I think often in these types of positions, it's not nice to be in this position. It doesn't feel great. It kind of can start to. It can start to hurt so good. But the reality is that this is quite a challenging position to be in. And so often we want to like get out of it or, make it stop. So sitting here and staying in this and opening the hips and breathing, it's so, so, so important. But we often don't take the time to do it, and we often shy away from when something feels painful, when in all reality, sometimes that pain is good. It can be good for us to challenge ourselves. Not all pain is bad. So, great, coming out of this, I like to come up onto my forearms here, off of my forearms onto my palms, and then I just kind of press up and do one leg in at a time. And ooh, goodness, it can be quite intense. So if you've really stretched those inner thighs out and kind of the hips, give yourself a second. You can do a shimmy or whatever you need to do. And then as promised, that's the end of our tabletop position. So now we're gonna pop onto our backs for the rest of class. So again, if you need to grab a sip of water or anything, now is a nice transition time to do that. So from here, we're gonna get nice and supported by our mat, nice and supported by the earth. If you need to kind of move your shoulders around, get your pelvis adjusted right, no problem. And then knees are teepeed up towards the ceiling. We do this in all of my classes. Having the mind to muscle connection to the pelvis is actually quite tricky. So we want to have control of the pelvis. We want the mind to connect to the pelvis. So what that looks like is right now I've got this huge generous gap between my low back and the mat because my pelvis right here is rotated this way. So if I rotate and rock my pelvis back and scoop my tailbone up towards the ceiling, what happens? That gap is gone. I'm now pressing my lower lumbar into the mat, and what does that do? Turns on my core. So not like crazy, unless I really like crunch into the floor, then it turns on like crazy. But that's kind of what we're looking for, is a gentle press into the mat with the lumbar, and the core turns on. Then if we rock the pelvis back forward, I've got my big generous gap again where my hand can fit through. Then I'm gonna rock my pelvis back, scoop the tailbone underneath, close the gap. So this back and forth rocking in Pilates is known as pelvic rocks. So it's great to connect the brain to the pelvis, to learn how to have control over the pelvis, to help us support the body and give it that lift that it needs throughout the day. The pelvis supports so much of our weight in our body. So it's nice to kind of do these back and forth rocks always to start. Great, and then from here, I'm gonna keep my heels nice and connected to the earth, to my mat. And on the next time that I rock my pelvis back, scoop the tailbone underneath, press my lower lumbar into the mat. From here, I'm gonna drive my heels into the mat and lift my pelvis up off the ground. Now, really think of squeezing through your bum cheeks here. So drive the heels in. I can feel my low back trying to engage a little bit here. That will happen a little bit, but I want to mainly force my glutes to do the work here. So really think of driving through the heels, and then nice and controlled, we lower the tailbone back down to the mat. It kisses the mat barely, and then we pop back up into our glute bridge. We're never on our necks here. We're really supported through the shoulder blades. Never on our necks. Very, very dangerous. So always on the shoulders. Drive through the heels. Nice and controlled. Bring the tailbone back down. Connect to the mat. One foot is going to come out in front of the other, just a little bit further. And this foot is going to now carry the predominant weight of this glute bridge. So think of driving through the heel. This leg is just a kickstand, just a balancing kickstand, and I'm putting all the weight into this bum cheek. I'm squeezing, pressing. Very tempting to let the knee fall open here. Really keep the knee up and in line. Press through the heel. Squeeze that glute, and then nice and controlled, let the tailbone kiss the mat. Same thing, press through the heel, come back up. Squeeze. Nice and controlled, come back down, tailbone kisses the mat. Last time, press up, squeeze through that bum cheek. This other foot, just chilling, just a kickstand. Nice and controlled, lower it back down. Hello, glutes. Ouchie, that was sore. So other side, bring this foot close, bring this other foot out, it's just a kickstand. And then from here, think of driving through the heel, using all of the weight into that side. So this is my right side. I'm pressing through my right glute. Squeeze. Ooh, my right side is so weak. Nice and controlled. We lower the tailbone back down, let it kiss the mat barely, and then straight back into it. Press through the heel. Don't engage the low back. Really think of squeezing through that bum, through that hip socket. And then nice and controlled, lower the tailbone down. Last time, kiss the mat, straight back up. press. Press, 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 press. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. You've been through worse. I know it. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Hold, hold, hold. Nice and controlled. Bring it back down. Whew, nice work. If you need to bring the knees in for a little squeeze or anything, if you need to do little circles to kind of massage that lower back, go for it. It's okay to do what feels nice in practice. Beautiful. So from here, because we just worked all those glutes out, now we want to lengthen them a bit and stretch them a bit. So I'm gonna bring my ankle to my knee here. And again, that opens the hip, right? It's the whole theme, pelvic and hip. So we're opening the hip. Now, I'm gonna bring this foot up off the mat. I'm reaching through this open area to connect back behind my hamstring. I'm interlacing my fingers here. If this hurts your knees, if this doesn't feel good, if you can't quite reach, if you're kind of like, oh, whatever, that's fine. You can chill here and keep that hip open and maybe even bring it up just a little bit, but really think of keeping that hip open. That's fine. If you kind of have a little bit more depth, then you can reach and grab here. And we're gonna think of drawing this ankle-knee combo towards the shoulder, bringing it here. And I'm even gonna be cheeky and use my elbow to open the hip. Bring the breath. This is a glute stretch, so after all that glute work, it's nice to bring the breath and stretch that out. Connect everything back down to the earth and we'll switch sides. So this foot comes down, ankle connects to the knee, we're opening that hip. That's enough. If that already feels quite tight through here and you want to just do a couple rocks to open the hip, totally fine. Then we're going to flex the feet to protect the knees, reach the hands through, interlace here, and start to draw this towards my shoulder. Big stretch through the piriformis, which is in the glute area, and just take your time here. There's no rush. Beautiful. We'll come back down to neutral. Bring that foot down, uncross the leg. So from here, we're gonna bring the arms out wide and just give ourselves a little spine twist, a little gentle twist. So my knees are connected and they're just gonna drop down to one side. Try to keep that shoulder blade connected to the floor if possible. If you need to bring your arms into more of a cactus formation, like a 90-degree angle to keep that shoulder blade connected, that's fine. Just a little spine stretch here. You can also turn your head away from your knees for an extra little bonus. Beautiful. Swing the knees up to neutral, and then we'll drop over to the other side. Same thing, try to keep that shoulder blade connected here. If you need to drop your arm into cactus, that's fine. Gorgeous, come back up to neutral here. Great. So if you would like, you can do hands to knees and kind of massage that low back one more time right before we get up. I like to give myself a little lower back love. When your low back hurts, I started researching like what does it mean in Chinese medicine when your lower back hurts? And it's like, it often means that you feel like you're carrying the weight of the world and that you don't, and I'm like crying as I'm reading it, like, gosh, it's crazy how the body carries all that. When I first heard that like the body can carry emotions and emotions are stored in the body, I kind of thought, whatever. But it's so true. All the research is pointing in that direction. So crazy. Okay, so from here up to you, you can either rock over and just sit up from here like this, or if you like that kind of rocking momentum where you use almost like a rocking horse, your momentum to come up, that's absolutely fine too. And then from here, we're gonna meet where we started, which is easy seat. So hopefully you feel so relaxed. I feel amazing right now. My hips feel so much better. But find an easy seat, even if that means I like to end mine kind of up in this thunderbolt position. If you'd like to be crisscross, that's fine. Whatever feels comfortable for you. We're gonna end our practice tonight with this nice little breath work that I have been really loving lately. It's mainly the symbolism that I'm really liking and resonating with. So in yoga, there's all these chakras. There's all these different energy points in the body. And so this is the heart chakra. So we're gonna bring one hand to our heart chakra. And then down here, we have our root chakra at the very base. And then right here, kind of right at the navel area, there's our solar plexus kind of, or sacral, sacral chakra down here. Solar plexus is up higher. So we've got our sacral chakra down here. And this the two represent really cool things. There's the heart space, which represents the kindness in all of us, the compassion, the love, the tenderness that every single one of us possesses. So you possess that right here, right now, in your very own being. So it represents the hand touching there, that part of you. And then there's this other hand touching this kind of solar plexus, sacral area. And this represents our ego, our gut. And a lot of times when we hear ego in the West, we think that's like bad and people have a big ego and they're arrogant. When in all reality, ego more symbolizes our boundaries with others, sticking up for ourselves, having a voice, not being, messed about. It's kind of that gut check, that nice, say it from your gut, right? So I love this symbolism that we all possess both these parts of us, and the thing that unites the two is you and the breath. So we're just gonna place one hand on each, and then we're gonna fill both. First the belly as we inhale, and then you'll start to feel the chest rise through the inhale. And we're gonna bring life to both of those parts of us. So big inhale through the nose, and then we'll pause at the top. Pause. Hold. And then exhale through the mouth. Inhale, pause, and exhale through the mouth. Inhale, bring life to those parts of you. Pause and hold. Absorb, receive. It's okay to receive sometimes. And exhale through the mouth. Last time, inhale. Pause. And exhale through the mouth. Beautiful. Let's bring our hands up to prayer one last time. And I get to bow and thank you so much for sharing your time, your energy, your movement, your practice with me today. It's such an honor, such a joy to move with you all, even though I can't see you. It's obviously very different than teaching in person, but I love it. And we're tempted to kind of start doing a way that I can like chat to you guys beforehand and stuff like that. So these will be continuing. We have a class again next Wednesday, same time, same place, your living room, my living room, right? For all of us homebodies. But that is our class for today. You can come next week. That'll be our closing one of the summer. And then we'll start back up again as soon as the September term starts. So thank you so much. Have an amazing evening. I hope you feel relaxed and good, and namaste.